Guys, the Tokyo Olympics are finally here. And while we bask in all the thrills and excitement of sports like race walking, synchronized swimming, and of course, dressage, I'm going to tell you about something sports related I noticed a while back. Women's athletics on YouTube is hugely, and I mean hugely popular. And hold on to your pink hats, they are blowing the men's events out of the water. For an ever so brief moment, I was like, wow, this totally undermines that whole women's sports just doesn't generate the same interest as men's sports thing. Something many sports organizations use to defend their allegedly discriminatory pay practices. But then I noticed the butts, the human female butts. And my brief stint as an enlightened modern man came to an abrupt end as my lizard brain took the wheel and sent me down a rabbit hole. I like butts. Human female butts. I'm terribly sorry about that. Here's what I found out after days of grueling research. Apparently a bunch of enterprising content creators found a cheeky way to make a quick buck on YouTube. All you have to do is take broadcasts of women's athletic events and upload them onto your own channel. Well, some of these channels do a little editing by chopping the events down and even adding slow-mo or zoom. Most don't do anything. It's just the raw footage of a women's sporting event. But regardless of what's on the screen when you hit play, the key ingredient to get the views seems to be the thumbnail. A thumbnail that features human female butts, which shockingly and I mean totally surprisingly, men seem to find irresistible. And once one of these, let's call them thumbnails, is clicked on, these men are at the mercy of the YouTube algorithm as it feeds them dozens more similar thumbnails for weeks to come. And so here, once again, it seems that the supercomputer-driven YouTube algorithm, one of the most advanced technologies on the planet, is feeding the lizard brain that controls most men exactly what it craves, all for the single most important goal of the 21st century, acquiring clicks and views for the efficient extraction of advertising revenue. Go ahead, click on one of these thumbnails if you dare. And if you get caught, well, at least you'll have the excuse that you were doing it for research purposes. And when you get hooked, you can take comfort, as I did, in knowing that you're not alone. There are millions of men of culture, if you will, who have made it something of a sport to be the first to find the frame used in the thumbnail and make the best or worst pun or joke, or just vent their frustration and self-loathing. As something of a content creator myself and someone who, likes money, I quickly found myself moving from, shall we say, intrigued to impressed, and I have to admit, more than a little jealous of the success these guys have had. I mean, just look at this video. It has over 200 million views. Not to take anything away from these athletes, but what the hell is going on? Is it just the impulse click? Do millions of men and teens who have access to YouTube not have access to porn? I checked purely for research purposes, and this gymnastics video has almost as many views as the most watched video on Pornhub, which is, bizarrely, the Kim Kardashian sex tape. Remember that? How's that for trivia? I wonder when we're gonna see that on Final Jeopardy. Anyway, moving on. Even though this particular account switched from women's athletics to far less popular, though admittedly delicious-looking chicken recipe videos, the guy still has around 637,000 subscribers. I am well impressed, I am well jealous. That lizard brain algorithm thumbnail combo, you just can't beat it. And here's another great example. This is an OG account, started 11 years ago. Diving seems to be this particular channel's niche. What makes it hilarious and interesting, at least to me, is that you can kind of see how the channel fully embraced the dark side here. As you scroll through the many uploads, the thumbnails change as the channel transitioned from a veneer of legitimate sports reporting to just full on chasing the algorithm. Now I'm gonna show you my research, but it is disturbing, so be warned. You called for the horny detection service? I'll begin scanning right away. These are normal readings for the, sports channels. Sometimes these kind of things accidentally slip through. Oh, picking up something here. No, maybe just an anomaly. Okay, these levels, not unexpected. Still pretty good. Oh wow, whoa. I've never seen anything like this. These readings. You've got to go. In case you're wondering, yes, I did go frame by frame and count all the butts on screen. And no, I have never been declared insane. Back to the channel, it racked up 171 million views over its lifetime, but it did go dormant about a year and a half ago. Him being dormant actually brings me to my next point. Since I first noticed this late last year, the number of channels and videos have decreased dramatically, which suggests that YouTube did clean house. Some accounts were deleted, a few have gone dormant, but many smaller, very active accounts popped up again this year, and many of the videos still have ads playing on them, generating that all-important revenue. Now, because almost anyone can make a copyright claim and divert the revenue on a YouTube video, I can't know for sure who is getting those dollars, aside from, YouTube, who takes at least 45%. But I'm of the opinion that these thumbnail channels are not doing this for the love of sport or even the female form. They're in it for the cash, and so at least some of their uploads are monetized and free from copyright claims. And hell, even demonetization doesn't seem to stop a few enterprising channels. One of the larger accounts is ad-free, but has a Patreon account. Here's 169 people that have way too much money. Now, I don't want to get too preachy on you, what with me having, wallowed in the crass humor and objectification, along with all the other men of culture. But what slowly dawned on me was that these guys are profiting, while little to no revenue from these videos goes to the sporting organizations or into the pockets of the athletes, if they had pockets. And this means that these channels are straight up exploiting these athletes. Sliding my obese feet into these athletes' shoes for a moment, if I had an awesome skill or ability, it would be kind of shitty to be known simply for my great body. And it would be weird and disappointing to be giving your all in the field and people are only tuning in to see your butt. On the other hand, it could be awesome to be known for my great body and my great butt. But yeah, it would be infinitely more awesome if I was the one exploiting my assets for my own gain. Like a Kim Kardashian or any of the many female athletes that have posed for, sexy photo shoots for various magazines and ad campaigns. And just playing the devil's advocate a little bit more, maybe these videos act as a gateway to views for legitimate videos, as horny dudes run out of thumbnails and try out real sports coverage. I did notice that once the horny has passed, at least some dudes actually prove themselves to be true men of culture, showing appreciation for the athleticism on display, which might in the long term lead to improved viewership and sustained interest in these events. Man, just look at those kind words. Silver linings, guys.
What can men do leaving here? Be better.
So as you can see, I went on a bit of a wild ride thanks to these thumbnails. I was horny, I was amazed, I laughed, I felt self-righteous, and now at the end of the day, I'm feeling vaguely disgusted, uncomfortable, I don't know. Basically, it's just another day of using the internet and social media. All jokes aside, a few questions to finish off with. Am I right in saying these channels are exploiting the athletes? And that is a bad thing, right? Is the solution to crush the channels and scold the men of culture? Or is there a way to exploit that lizard brain for the benefit of the sport and the athletes? And yes, a little bit of house cleaning. I am aware that another tiny bit more famous YouTuber covered this a while back, but I honestly only came across this video after I was already heavily committed. And hey, I animated a lizard man sitting in another man's head. So that's quality content right there. If you enjoyed the lizard or the word thumbnail being said about 25 times or anything else in the video, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you and thanks for watching. Bye bye. Butts, butts, butts. Human female butts.